Hey everyone! Today we are going to walk you through the process of buying airline tickets. It may seem like a daunting task, but believe me, it doesn't have to be, and we hope to simplify that today. If you've decided you're finally in the position to buy your ticket, congratulations! That means that you have raised a significant portion of your budget and now you're taking another step closer to your next step's assignment. Just a few points to mention before we begin. Number 1. Researching to find the cheapest ticket is really the first step in purchasing your airline ticket. There are many third-party websites you can use to quickly compare pricing from many different airlines such as Bayama, Orbitz, and there are many more. Other options are to call the airline directly or to go to a specific airline's website and search that way. I can't stress enough how important it is to research and compare. This could mean the difference of hundreds of dollars for you. In this video today, we're going to be using one of those third-party websites we discussed. This one's called kayak.com. So let's go ahead and go to our browser and pull up kayak.com. Once it loads, you'll notice we'll need some initial information to put in the search bar. First, we'll need the departing airport code. Each airport has a different code, and you can always Google what your airport code is if you're unsure. Today, I'm going to be flying out of St. Louis, Missouri, and I already know that our airport code is STL, which you'll notice I've already put in. At some point in your next steps preparation, you will be told which airport to fly into, and then you'll have to figure out that airport code as well. Today, we're going to be flying to Colombo, Sri Lanka, where the airport code I know is CMB. Next, we'll need to know our departure date and our return date, so I'll put those in here now. And then we're just going to select for one adult ticket in economy because that's probably the safest bet for our budget. You'll also notice that on Kayak they give you the opportunity to compare pricing with other websites. But for today, we will not select this option. This step can be done in that research phase, which again, you need to do. All right, let's hit search. If I was researching, which again you should do, I would look through all this info about each of these flights. Some things to look for specifically would be obviously your price. Is your airline going to be one airline the whole time, regardless of layovers, or are you going to be on multiple airlines? That's going to be a great question, especially when it comes to how long you want your layover times to be. A huge point to mention would be layovers. When viewing layover times, be sure you will have ample time to go from plane to plane. And if they're two different airlines, you will have to make sure you have plenty of time to get your baggage and recheck everything because this could take much longer. Another variable will be your departure and arrival times. You'll notice sometimes you'll get cheaper flights because your departure or arrival times are very odd. But that's something you need to pay attention to, especially when cooperating with the missionary on site. And then a last part to be aware of is the time it takes you to travel. You'll notice some of these have over 24-hour travel times, but that's something that you can expect because we're traveling all the way to Asia. And then of course, be aware of your time differences. You'll see that there is a +2 or a +1 behind some of these flights, and that just means that you'll be arriving sometimes up to 2 days later than when you left. Once your desired flight is selected, it becomes pretty simple from here, at least through Kayak. All you do is fill in your information. First, you'll want to review your flight info and show those flight details. You'll notice it just goes over each individual flight and their connections, and also how long you have at those connections on the right-hand side. You'll see here there's Wi-Fi on board this first flight, and that it's special because it's operated by American Airlines, which is going to be different than your other flights because they don't have that designation. All those details are important for you because when you get to the airport, you're going to see American Airlines, not Cathay Pacific. Again, we'll just scroll down and I would have verified those more in depth, but let's move on. Next, we'll scroll down. It looks like Kayak gives you the opportunity to have an account with them, but we're not going to do that today, so let's fill in our information. Let's put in the rest of John's fake information here. And then we'll scroll down and see that they give you this opportunity to add trip protection, which I'm going to add because I always like to be covered, but not everyone has to do that. We'll just add it here, but that will affect our price. The rest of the information is simple: billing address, card information. Note some other things you might need would be your passport number, especially if it is an international flight. You must make sure that all this information that you fill in represents accurately what is on your ID, specifically on your passport, because it will have to match at the airport. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't have somebody else pay for you, but it's just a minor note that you might want to take into account as we are flying internationally. I won't actually fill out credit card information here, but it's important to note that if anything were to go wrong in an airport, sometimes they require you to have the card that you actually paid with. Again, I would just review the policies and terms and conditions, especially the cancellation and change policy information. I can go over to the right and see my total cost, which again is affected by that trip protection, which I added. And down at the bottom in orange is our total price, and it's telling me the fields that I missed, but we know that. Notice also that this is actually being booked with airfare.com, so when you get a confirmation email, it might not say kayak.com. This is something to be aware of. So there you go. If we click the book button, we're done. You've just purchased your tickets. Today I'm not going to do that, but you would hit book. Be on the lookout for emails and updates from kayak.com or from the airline that you booked with. Some things to consider moving forward. Some airlines may have apps for your devices that make traveling much easier. Some airlines can send updates via text to your phone. This is very helpful when gate changes are made or there are flight delays because you receive instant updates. You can print tickets from your email or print in person at the airport. And through the process of customs, it will especially be helpful to prove that you purchased your ticket if you have actual documentation. And a last follow-up point is most flights you can check in via online, their website, or through an app if your airline has one. You can check in 24 hours in advance. Be sure to check out those details because you can get priority seating or priority boarding if you check in early. So that's it for today. I hope this video has given you at least a little bit of good information. For some more good tidbits on flights and preparation for travel, check out the information attached. And last but not least, congratulations for taking your next step towards your next steps adventure.